The transfer of Oleksandr Zinchenko has been a very quick one. Less than a week since Arsenal's interest was confirmed, a deal was agreed, and a medical has been passed. But let's find out if the player has been spotted in Arsenal colours. What David Ornstein had to say on Yuri Tillemans, and what did we learn from Arsenal's third game of pre-season against Orlando City? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is T19 and welcome back to your boys channel. Hope you guys are doing amazing as always. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, as we are on that road to 200 subscribers. Let's get into the video and start off with Oleksandr Zinchenko. Of course, we know he's a player that Mikel Arteta wanted. He's a player who can play left back and in midfield as well. We know Arsenal agreed a fee. We know the personnel terms were also agreed. A medical was scheduled to take place in the USA. And then you have reports from Jack Gohan. As he said, Oleksandr Zinchenko has said his goodbyes to the Manchester City squad and staff and is now heading to Orlando to complete his move to Arsenal. So that was confirmation that Oleksandr Zinchenko had said his goodbyes to the Man City squad and staff. Then you now had Pep Guardiola confirming this himself, as he said, "It was nice yesterday with Alex because we could say goodbye properly. Yesterday at dinner together, we could say bye to him and he can move on to Arsenal." So that is confirmation from the ex-manager of Zinchenko saying yes, he has said his goodbyes, we were able to say goodbye properly and he can now move on to Arsenal to undergo his medical. And then Mr. Here We Go, Fabrizio Romano, came up to give us an update on the medical. Zinchenko has signed his contract as a new Arsenal player, valid till June 2026. So that is all you basically need to hear to know this transfer has been confirmed. But if you do not believe the reports, you don't believe the manager, you don't believe Mr. Here We Go as well, you definitely will have to believe your own eyes. Here is a video of Zinchenko wearing the Arsenal training kit. The player was also spotted arriving with the Arsenal squad for the game against Orlando City. So you have seen it there yourself, you've seen it with your own two eyes. Zinchenko is officially an Arsenal player. I think it's time for us to finally say those words. Oleksandr Zinchenko, welcome to Arsenal Football Club. And we need to understand that Mikel Arteta has worked extremely hard, and it was majorly because of Mikel Arteta that Arsenal were able to complete this transfer. As you can see from this report, it was Arteta who suggested to Pep that Zinchenko could play at left back. So it was actually Mikel Arteta's idea to bring him all the way from midfield to come and play as an inverted left back, which is what I think he's coming to Arsenal to do. Yes, we love Kieran Tierney, but he's not reliable, as Zinchenko is more suited to play in the inverted left back role because he is a midfielder by trade and overall has better technical ability than Kieran Tierney. The famous interview by Kyle Walker, the matches he has played, the way Pep Guardiola has used him. Zinchenko is a very, very good player when it comes to the technical area, and there are very, very few fullbacks who can actually step into midfield and do a good job. So to get one for £30 million, I think Arsenal are getting an absolute bargain. But as always, I will leave it down to you guys in the comments below. What do you make of Zinchenko's transfer to Arsenal, and what role would you like to see him play in this Arsenal team? Moving on, and let's talk about Yuri Tillemans. This is a transfer many Arsenal fans think has been put to bed. They think Arsenal are no longer pursuing the player. But let's take a look at this report from John Percy. Yuri Tillemans remains a target for Arsenal, with Mikel Arteta the main driving force behind the move. But Arsenal have still not made their play and are not in any rush. Tillemans is understood to even be reluctant to sign an extension if he does not move this summer. As I've said on Twitter, that last bit of information is actually crucial to Arsenal because the fact that Yuri Tillemans is not looking to extend his contract means Leicester ultimately have to sell the player in this window or risk losing him for free. And we know that gives Arsenal a lot of negotiation power, which is maybe why Arsenal are dragging this transfer behind. And of course, according to Team News and Takes, the agent of Yuri Tillemans is putting pressure on Leicester to get his price even lower. The desired price between Arsenal and Leicester is getting closer and closer. Leicester wants around 30 to 32 million. Arsenal want to pay 25. The player's contract is running down, and the agent is now pressuring, almost helping Tillemans push for a move to Arsenal, telling Leicester to lower his price tag. Well, for me, as I've said many times on this channel, If Yuri Tielemans was the prime target, the priority for Arsenal in this window, Arsenal would have gone on to get him a long time ago, and we will be having no discussions about Yuri Tielemans coming to Arsenal. Well, finally, we have that report we've been waiting for from David Ornstein. As he says, the key decision makers at Arsenal are essentially all in on him. When you talk to people around the situation, they make it clear that there may be need for a departure first for Yuri Tielemans to come in. Arsenal have spent lots of money in this window. They brought in a lot of players. But one thing we're forgetting, yes, we love new signings, but we have to also look at those departures. Because ultimately, Mikel Arteta doesn't want to have those, what we fans call deadwood. He doesn't want those players that are not really going to be playing, just sitting on the bench or staying at home, racking up wages. So this decision to make sure some departures take place before signing Tielemans is kind of logical. And maybe the departure of a Lucas Torreira could free up space for Yuri Tielemans to come in. Will Tielemans play in the box-to-box role? Will Tielemans come to Arsenal? We will have to wait and see. But as always, I will leave it down to you guys in the comments below. Do you still want to see Yuri Tielemans come to Arsenal Football Club? Yes, Arsenal played their 4th game of pre-season against Orlando City, running out 3-1 winners, with Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson getting on the score sheet. Here are 5 things to take away from that game. Number 1 on the list, we have squad depth is crucial. In that first half, it started really well. Martinelli got a 5th minute scruffy goal. That was good. But in that game, ultimately after that goal, the defense was not tight enough. There were too many spaces, too many defensive lapses, and ultimately, Arsenal had no control in the game. But ultimately, this should be expected, especially when we have a player like Pablo Mari, who is nowhere near the level we need at the back. But the point of this video is not to scapegoat Pablo Mari. I don't think he's good enough, but that is ultimately not the point of this video. The point is the Arsenal bench were getting knocked about by an MLS side. With all due respect, the MLS is definitely not Premier League level, meaning the Arsenal bench is not good enough to play in the Premier League. When you look at teams like Man City, teams like Liverpool, their second team could actually start in the Premier League and still do a very good job as well. When you have Pepe, Mari, those are players that are not Premier League level. And those should be part of the outgoings we're talking about to make space for new, fresh and better players. So what I think Arsenal should try and do in future windows is to build squad depth. Get in players with massive quality, especially when we're looking at 5 substitutions in the upcoming season in the Premier League. Teams are going to bring on players from the bench, and ultimately having extreme quality on that bench could be the deciding figure in the Premier League. Second thing on the list, Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus' partnership. Now, I'm well aware they are both number 9s by trade, but in the second half, Eddie Nketiah went over to the left flank. And cast your mind back to last season, coming off the bench, Eddie Nketiah was playing more games as a left winger. And in this game, we saw the celebration from Eddie Nketiah alongside Gabriel Jesus. They both have the same celebration, and it was beautiful scenes for us Arsenal fans. But ultimately, what we can take out of that second half is the mutual understanding, the way they understand each other's movements. And they both offer a massive goal threat. Eddie Nketiah always sniffing around in the box. Gabriel Jesus, the movement in the box. This could be a very deadly partnership going into the Premier League season. But of course, going into that game against Crystal Palace, would you guys like to see Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus both start up front? Or would you like to see one of them? And if it's one of them, which one would you like to see? Third item on the list, and it's more to come from Odegaard. In the second half, Martin Odegaard came on and Arsenal were creating chance after chance after chance. In the first 30 minutes, Arsenal had 11 shots in that second half, which was beautiful to see. But ultimately, we have to break this down on this channel. What we saw from that game was a Martin Odegaard who had a lot of space to roam, a lot of space to work with, and he ultimately had more options to pass to. What exactly brought about that? You had 2 players who have extraordinary movements in Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus on the pitch. Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah were dragging out defenders, giving Odegaard options. They provided a lot of space, and ultimately I think there is more to come from Odegaard, because I have not seen that version of Odegaard before. That was an Odegaard who was under no pressure to pass. That was an Odegaard who was playing true balls. We always knew he could be like this, but last season our striker was Oleksandr Zinchenko, a player who offered little to no movement at all. And now we're seeing a movement monster like Gabriel Jesus signed for Arsenal Football Club, and we are ultimately seeing how impactful he's been on the Arsenal attack. So keep your eyes on Martin Odegaard. I think there is more to come. Fourth item on the list, and we have Saliba and Ben White in the same lineup. As we knew when we signed him, Ben White can also offer backup to Tomiyasu on the right flank and play a sort of inverted right back role. In that game, in the second half, William Saliba came on, and that moved Benjamin White to the right hand side to play as an inverted left back. And in the build-up phase, Arsenal formed a back three of Real Magalhaes, Ben White and William Saliba, with Ben White playing on the right hand side. So but obviously this can be something we see a lot more next season, especially with the 5 substitutions. Of course. And the last item on the list, we have Sambi Lokonga playing as a number 8. It's something I've always known for a while. When playing in that number 6 role, that lone number 6, it's too much pressure for a young player like Sambi Lokonga. When he played in that box-to-box role as that number 8, you could see a different level of Sambi Lokonga. He was playing with more confidence, he looked more comfortable, there was a lot more positioning freedom. Rather than the strict positioning you have as a number 6, Sambi Lokonga was more expressive. He was stepping up, he was mopping up balls, he was feeding that front line. And ultimately, I think this is something Mikel Arteta also has as an option going into the next season. But ultimately, if it was down to you guys, where would you rather see Sambi Lokonga play? The lone number 6 or that box-to-box number 8 profile? Let me know in the comments below. Yes, my friends, that is the video there and there, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one.